My Hero Academia has come to an end, y'all. At least the manga has. The anime is still airing. There's a movie out in Japanese theaters and it's coming to America in October. But the My Hero Academia manga is officially over. 400 plus chapters over the last 10 years. It's all wrapped up. There's been the obligatory time skip at the last chapter and all that. And Tim, I know you had started to give us your thoughts last time before, technical stuff started teching. But what were your thoughts on how things played out with My Hero?
All for nothing. That is just where I am, bro. All for nothing. All for nothing. The fact that you sacrificed your quirk. I mean, even the whole Shigaraki thing, like, sometimes, bro, these animes really annoy me with this power of good and friendship, bro. And that's why, like, bro, to this day, I still feel like Luffy has the most common sense out of all of them. Nah, bro. Punch. Bam. It's just like to be honest, to be real, like, I was more interested in Todoroki's family drama. Like I said, the whole I said this many times. I was like, bro, Dabi being his brother was the most logical theory outside of, like, the fourth Hokage being Naruto's father.
Yeah, the most obvious plot
I was like, bro, this is obvious. And I was more invested into that. Like, after when Endeavor fought the Nemu and Dabi showed up, I was like, bro, there's something here. Mm-hmm. And then even when he revealed himself, I was like, finally. Yeah. Like, I was just so happy to see that. I was so happy to see that, bro. Like, all this, and then, of course, more things happen, but then it's like, you do all of that just to become a teacher.
Oh. The story of how we became the greatest heroes, and he's Mr. Like, Midori, can I use the bathroom?
And that is just such a lame thing, bro. And it's just like, there's just so many interesting characters, and this is where I can, and I'll call it the Naruto formula. Mm-hmm. It's like, because it's very similar, like a bunch of classmates, and as they grow older, the impacts of their world, like ninjas, superheroes. It's just like, once they establish this big three, I kind of feel like everything just gets lost in that. Mm-hmm. It's like, now all these characters, like, who, after their whole Chunin exam arc, they just become pointless. I was like, bro.
Yeah. We had started to talk about it last time before you got cut off, of like, it was not only that. It's not only that the class was big. It's like, you introduced other classes. Like, here's these 12 students, here's another like 10, and then here's the upperclassmen, and you're just like, bro, like, who matters here? Please. I need to know, who should I be rooting for?
And then you show us a collection of teachers who are fire as well. Mm-hmm. It's just, and then I did like the whole apprenticeship aspect of it, but it's just like I said, bro, it just all amounted to nothing in the end. To nothing.
Yeah. And
and when I really look at it, I look at it things at full circle. Like, all the movies that we got, all the build up, like, bro, like, I keep telling people, bro, like when they fought Overhaul, bro, that kind of felt like the Sound Ninja arc, bro. Like, yeah, everybody just got separated and they just went from one battle to the next. Like, bro, like, you can't tell me the fat gum fight was not Choji.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me this is not Choji.
Plus, when they collapse afterwards, we're like, did they die? Or who is someone gonna make it? Is someone, like, permanently injured? Yeah.
Like, and of course, in the final battle, you unlock a new form, but then things end in some anticlimactic way. But it's just like, bro, all of this for nothing, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, my issue with it has always just been, like, the size of the cast. That was always it. Like, I think, to your point, it's the Naruto effect of, like, one of the biggest ongoing issues with Naruto is that, unfortunately, for the most part, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura are the least interesting characters in this show that focuses only on them, right? So you're just like, man, Team 7 is kind of kind of underwhelming, right? Like, what's Rock Lee and Neji doing, right? And it's like they're not doing anything. They're fodder at this point. It was saying with My Hero. Dead. And now, and how did he die? How did he die, Tim? How did the man with 360 degrees of vision die? Protecting a blind spot, being a meat shield for the main character. Oh my goodness! But yeah, that was my issue with My Hero Academia. Was always just the cast, it was the roster, where it's like when things meaningful things were supposed to happen for the heroes, like when like Miss Midnight died. I'm like, she was an interesting teacher, right? But like, I didn't care. There wasn't enough screen time with her. Like, she wouldn't have impacted me as much as if even Present Mike had died, right? Like he had been on screen more often than she had, or their actual teacher had died. Like, it just, there was just certain things where like the stakes were so all over the place where I couldn't really hone in. And then when you had the villains arc, to your point, I'm like, Dobby wasn't the biggest fan of him, right? I'm like, like you said, when you see that twist coming a mile away, it's like, all right, it doesn't matter when at this point. But I'm like, but the League of Villains, I'm like, Mr. Compress, I liked him. Like, his powers, the fact that he had a mechanical arm after his arm got destroyed by Overhaul, I'm like, I like where this is going. And you find out that he's like a descendant in like a line of like thieves, and like, oh yeah, like what's going to happen? Oh, he got sent to prison. What? That's it? Instead, we're going to focus on Mr. What's it called? The Twice Dying and the Lizard Kid and what's her name? The one with the blood quirk, where she stabs you and she can take your powers. I'm like, I don't care about her. Like, yeah, but she loves Midori. I'm like, I don't care about her. I don't care about her. You know, and to your point about the movies, it's like, bruh, like Jory and I have said it multiple times. 9 from the second movie was way more interesting than Shigaraki. Stain, way more interesting. Even when they brought back All For One, way more interesting than whatever Shigaraki had going on. So it's just like you're gearing up for this ultimate villain who has been underwhelming the entire series. He hasn't got more interesting. He hasn't gained like a new outlook that I can come to appreciate. Every other villain you introduced was way more interesting than him. Like the what's it called, the Corporation of Villains, the guy that had like the stress powers. This was way more interesting. Oh, he has a network of underground, like, you know, villains that are like in certain parts of society. This is way more interesting than Shigaraki, or even the mercenary quirk for hire, the one that was trying to snipe Midoriya when he was during his I can do it by myself arc. The lady. I'm like, oh, they had like paid mercenary Black Ops heroes. This is way more interesting than whatever Shigaraki is doing. It was just a constant like introduction of like really good ideas being used on characters that we never saw again.
But you know what I also think it is, like, you know, especially it's also the human world aspect. I do feel like a lot of these products, the funding is being cut. Even on the outside, we see, you know, the merchandise, the movies, the games. I do kind of feel like, you know, certain investors they just want to wrap it up. I realized that the longevity of things has changed over time.
No, definitely.
Like
things are getting shorter.
We don't get 14 seasons like we used to anymore. And then even the stress of the workers, bro, because like I said, page by page by page by page, and then get animated.
Yeah.
All of that stuff has changed, man, like due to the demand of the world. So, I mean, and you know, this particular studio, they was doing a lot, man. They was really doing a lot.
Yeah, I didn't understand how they'd be like, yeah, you know, we're doing the season, but we're also working on the movie. I'm like, why? What are you doing? Like, yeah, we're doing a full featured hour-and-a-half film of top-notch animation while also dropping the season 6. And that's why half these episodes have slideshows. It's like, why don't you just finish the season first? Why don't you do what the studio that's doing Demon Slayer is doing and do it one by one? What are you doing? You know, why are you putting this stress on yourself?
It's a lot of corporate stuff, bro, that we probably would just never know until somebody leak it, bro. But yeah, it goes back to, man, like, yeah, all for nothing. All for nothing.
Well, I don't want to entirely kick its back in. Outside of the Dobby reveal, were there any other moments throughout the history of My Hero Academia that you're like, you know what, I like this. This was cool, or I enjoyed this?
I mean, I did like Endeavor's redemption story. Because I'm a big person on redemption, for personal reasons. It's just that, he realized like what I did was very cruel. What I did was very wrong. And, this new position that I'm called now in life has really changed me for the better. But it also brought the better out of me. And that's what I want to stand for. I definitely enjoyed seeing the variety of quirks across the characters, man. This person do this person do that. And it's like, bro, this is all very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Like, even like, yes, I have a fire quirk, but my fire quirk is different from yours. And it's like, it is. Because I love it when the character comes up and it has their name and their quirk title. And it's just like, bro, that is so interesting to me. I enjoy nerdy stuff like that, man. The villains were very cool. The villains were very cool because I like layers to villains, because then when you realize, are they really the villain?
Yeah. Or are they the byproduct of a fractured world? I think you walk that line very well.
Because I tell people, bro, and it was so funny that, during the Ninja War arc that they were paired together was Itachi and Pain. It's like, I was like, bro, that was very spot on writing. It's like you found out that they really were not the villains that people thought that they were. But then to go back for All for Nothing, the Ninja World still fumbled. Oh, the Ninja World did not help the Hidden Rain. Naruto lied.
Yeah.
I was like, All for Nothing, bro.
The who? The what village?
I was like, bro.
Don't see them at the Hokage Summit. Terrible. Yeah. Terrible, bro. I think for me, for my hero, I really, really, really enjoyed everything leading up to the overhaul arc. Like, I loved introducing the Yakuza into the storyline. I thought that was really, really interesting. The idea that they would be selling like black market weapons to counteract quirks and ruin. Like, I'm like, all this is like very like, it makes sense within this world that has been built. I liked the upperclassmen big three. Like, I until they ruined him, like I really enjoyed Mirio like one-shotting the entire class. Of like, he would just felt like a modern Rock Lee of like, I'm the least talented but the hardest working, and that makes me a problem, like a real problem. Like I enjoyed what they did with his character, even his companions. The girl, she never really did too much, but the other guy, Sun Eater, where it's like, yeah, whatever I eat, I can manifest into like a weapon. I was like, that's very interesting. And like he's like, yeah, so I eat like squid and clams so I can harden my body and use a pen. I'm like, that's actually really cool. Like that's actually a really cool concept and super creative. So like I feel like the overhaul arc, like the Yakuza thing, was really, really dope. Even that arc that focused entirely on Shigaraki's crew. Again, Shigaraki wasn't the most interesting person, but I like that the author took an arc just to focus on building up the villains. Because, we watch anime for a long time. The villain's off screen and comes back with powers you've never seen before, with no explanation of like, oh, now he can summon the dead and they're even stronger than they were when they were alive. And it's like, Kabuto can do that, my man. Kabuto. Okay, you got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like the fact that he like showed like this is how they like evolved themselves. And that the heroes didn't always win. Right? Like, to speak to your point about Endeavor, I'm like, bro, Endeavor almost lost against Unknown. Like, it was bad. Like it wasn't one of those things where it's just like, like the fights were never like just one-sided beatings. It's like, bro, they had to really scrap to get a win out. So like I don't think, it's unfortunate because I think over time, like you said, whether it be the animation falling off, the story dropping off, the ending being pretty bad, to be honest. Like, if we're being real, I don't think it's going to be looked at in like the best of lights in years to come. I don't think My Hero is as bad as the internet makes it out to be, but I understand its fall from grace from like, yo, have you seen that latest My Hero anything? Right? Like, it's one of those things where like it kind of falls into that tier. I'm trying to think like what would be like the 2000s equivalent of My Hero, where it's like, it's a good anime, good manga, but people don't like love it. You know, like it's a very like almost like niche fan base.
Sorry, question.
But because I'm like, for us, we got a lot of like really, really good ones that have aged well, and all the other ones that kind of fell off, like nobody really cared. Like I'm like, did anybody like? No, Zatch Bell was an underrated gem. Like, come on, no Zatch Bell. Like,
Cause you could tell how it was falling off, bro. Look at I would say the like Instagram tells it all. The reels, bro. The reels. If you don't see no like mix up of reels with different songs, it's like, bro, yeah, bro, people are not invested into it.
yeah,
Because
bro.
to this day, I am still seeing the Shanks versus Kid fight
Kid.
on my timeline. It's like, bro, people are just happy.
Yeah.
When Bleach, when they were like when that was happening with the Quincy fights, bro. When I saw like when Shinji releases Bankai, people love that, bro. And then especially the higher captain when she killed all of them in those different dimensions. It's like, bro, I saw like 10 remixes of that.
Yeah. I saw like about 10 reels of Rukia using her Bankai when that dropped.